Hey, what's happening, friends and neighbors? Welcome to another exciting edition of Front of House Live, where you and I sit here at the bar, pour a few cold drinks, and listen to one of the many great acts that graces us with their presence here in the North Hollywood Hideout. Today, we sit down with my good friend Grover Anderson. Grover is back for his third appearance on Front of House. We'll get to all that in just a minute. First, as always, a reading from the Big Book of Rock. A perfect example of rap's influence on worldwide rock culture, Rage Against the Machine were formed from the ruins of several LA bands. Zach De La Rocha had been with Headstance and Inside Out. Guitarist Tom Morello joined from Lockup, while drummer Brad Wilk had played for a long time with Pearl Jam's Eddie Vedder. Bassist Timmy C became the fourth and final member. Armed with one of the most powerful anagrams of rap, rock, and funk yet created, they first made an impact in 1993 with Killing in the Name, a howling, expletive-driven tirade against the ills of American society. A reading from the Big Book of Rock. Hail, hail, rock and roll. Grover Anderson is our guest today. Again, Grover's got these two records that you should pick up at groveranderson.com. We get into this in the podcast. I like the way he has titled these records. This is Grover Anderson, comma, The Optimist. And this is Grover Anderson is the frontman. This is the latest. This is the first. They're both solid records, and I recommend you pick them up. So without further ado, let's be joined by my man Grover Anderson right here on this stage in the North Hollywood Hideout. It's Front of House Live. To the greatest music podcast of all time. This is Front of House, and our guest, the return, dare I say triumphant, of Grover Anderson.
You dare say it, I will accept it without knowing for sure if it's accurate.
Let's hear a song, my brother.
All right. One day the ocean's gonna rise up and drown everybody in New York and California. One day the left and the right are gonna start another civil war. One day the sun's gonna increase in size till it swallows the earth. So what's the good in worrying about her? One day the flowers you bought will decay inside a landfill. The tree you carved your names into will burn down into ash. In time, your memories of Yellowstone will be a volcanic crater. So what's the good in worrying about that? If she says she's gone, then she's gone. Good luck trying to change a woman's mind. You may think yourself strong, but what's your heartache to time? What if the tectonic plate you live on becomes an island? Then an electromagnetic pulse puts the planes and ships to ground. Well, you'd waste your life on a raft praying currents took you to her. So what's the good in wasting it now? She says she's gone, then she's gone. Good luck trying to change a woman's mind. You may think yourself strong, yeah, buddy, but what's your heartache to time? One day you're gonna feel the full for this mighty depth of feeling. But even the sharpest pain holds a little bit of worth. In time, every mistake will have only made you better. And there's the good in worrying about her. Yeah, there's the good in worrying about her.
Grover Anderson, our guest, front of house. Welcome back, my man. Grover with the opening track from Grover Anderson is the front man. It's called The Good.
Yes, sir.
And one thing I like about that song is you ask the question the whole time, what is the good? What is the good? What is the good? But then you answer that question, and that, my friends, is the mark of a good songwriter.
I was a little nervous about coming around on that back chorus so that at the very end and saying, like, am I going to actually do this? I was like, yeah, no, what's the point of writing a song if I'm not going to answer this question eventually?
Because the one question I had written down, and I go through these, I should start tweeting pictures of the notepads that I destroy while we're doing these shows.
That would be lovely.
But the third thing I wrote down is, what is the good?
What is the good?
What is the good? So answer that question anyway. What is the good?
That song started as I was sitting at a gazebo watching a river rise. And I was trying to figure out, like, oh man, am I going to write a song about like all these things in the end of the world? And I realized, like, what is the point in worrying about it? And yet, I put a lot of energy into worrying about things. I know a lot of people in my life do, and a lot of people in the world. So, we've evolved to do things. We've evolved to do things for a reason. Why do we do it? Oh yeah, we worry about food so that we stay alive. We worry about money so that we can support our family. Mm-hmm. Why do we worry about love? Well, because it makes us better. A heartache makes us ready for the next one.
It also is reminiscent of the words of the great John Popper. It won't mean a thing in 100 years.
Well, if we could be...
It's kind of the beginning of that song, right? As it feels like, what's the good?
Yeah.
What's the point?
We're
good. We're all right.
The point is growth, ideally.
Yeah. Grover Anderson here. New record called The Front Man. It is available now everywhere. The website is groveranderson.com, correct?
.com.
Yeah, one of those guys who got his own name.
Got there early. Well, it helps when you have a name like Grover.
That is true, and we'll probably be coming back to that over the next hour or so. But right now, I want to hear another song.
All right, cool. We got wasps in the woodpile, and I don't like my work. The shower faucet's leaking and the garden's on the dirt. The internet works sometimes and the basement's fit to flood. We got 100 things to tend to, and we'll ignore them all because there's a Jeep and a dirt road and the dogs in the backseat. There's a rock beside a river to sit and dip our feet. If there's a chance, we're gonna take it. If there's trouble, learn to shake it. If there's a backyard guitar, as long as we can see the stars, we're gonna make it. We got wasps in the woodpile, and isn't it a shame that we can't heat our home for comfort without risking stinging pain? And there's a metaphor there that we're too lazy to find, but I got your love around me, oh, and I'm giving you all of mine. There's a Jeep and a dirt road and the dogs in the backseat. There's a rock beside a river to sit and dip our feet. If there's a chance, we're gonna take it. If there's trouble, learn to shake it. If there's a backyard guitar, as long as we can see the stars, we're gonna make it. And one day we'll earn a little money and we're gonna be just fine. We'll host parties with more than records and cheap wine. One day we're gonna turn this house into a hive. But for now, let's take a ride. We got a Jeep and a dirt road and the dogs in the backseat. We got a rock beside a river to sit and dip our feet. If there's a chance, we're gonna take it. If there's trouble, learn to shake it. If there's a backyard guitar, long as we can see the stars, we're gonna make it. If there's a backyard guitar, long as we can see the stars, we're gonna make it.
Grover Anderson is front of house. I am assuming that up near Angels Camp in Murphy's, California, the wasps are a big deal.
Oh my God. So I don't like animals that move on a three-dimensional plane. Birds and flying insects are not my bag.
Okay, so you just don't, all of them.
Yeah, I can't.
Okay.
I don't. Yeah,
All right,
basically.
I'm with you. All
and
right.
so we have these.
Like chickens are cool.
Chickens are fine.
Right.
Turkeys, well, I know they fly a little bit, but that's okay.
Yeah.
Spiders, I'm fine with, but
Yeah.
it's wasps.
Yeah.
And so we live in a place. We live out in the woods, like 7 miles off of the main road,
Mm-hmm.
and these wasps burrow in our firewood, which is really fun when it's wintertime and you bring the wood in for the middle of the night, so you don't have to run out in your skivvies
Holy
to the
hell.
wood pile. And so we'd wake up in the morning and there'd be these red wasps flying around our living room, which was great. And then they stung my wife, and I wrote a song about it.
Oh my God. Yeah, I should say that song is called Wasps. Again, from Grover Anderson, the front man.
Yeah. A lot of people think that's a mosquito when I go, but there's a stinger, and that's a very
Yeah,
important
no, it
distinction
says it-
there.
It just says it stings in there. Yeah, dude. Insects get big up north.
Yeah, well, I was in Maine this summer. They get bigger in Maine than they do in Northern California.
It's the humidity.
It's awful.
Yeah.
I got chased down a path by a moose fly. They chase you. It's pretty fun.
Lobsters are essentially nature, the ocean's insects.
It's true.
And,
But they stay on the ocean floor for the most part, as
they
far
do.
as I
They're
know.
not three-dimensional. So
Yeah.
you're not afraid of lobsters.
I can handle lobsters.
Okay, sweet. All right, good. So what brings you to Southern California, my man?
I am in town for the Folk Alliance Regional West Conference, a.k.a. Far West.
That
which-
is a lot of words.
It
Do you
is a
think
lot of
they
words.
came up with Far West before they had the Folk Alliance Regional?
Well, there's like 6 of the Folk Alliance regionals, and some of the other ones got better. Like the Midwest one is just farm, which makes a lot more
Nice,
sense.
that's
Folk
good.
Alliance
I
Regional
like that.
or Midwest, and there's a lot of good ones, and we somehow got Folk Alliance Regional West, which is a lot.
Okay, so now are you? Is this something you have to be a member of, or do you just follow them, or what's going on?
You don't
Do
have
you
to
pay to be in the conference, and what's up?
Yeah, you do pay to go to the conference. You don't have to be a member, but I signed up. So Jimbo Scott, my buddy, is always telling me he goes every year to the Folk Alliance International one, and it's in like Kansas City or Montreal or whatever. And he's always telling me that I should go, but it's a massive financial and time commitment to do that one. So I said, all right, why don't I just ease into it by going to the regional one first? Because I was imagining going to the big one. It's in New Orleans this year, and just kind of getting lost in the shuffle.
That is a good place to get lost, though.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
facts. Yes,
But
it's
no,
true.
I understand if you're going to try this out for the first time. I mean, you don't jump on the fucking shortboard and hit Rincon at high tide.
I am a longboard skateboarder, not a half pipe.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So what is it? Conferences, gigs, a combination of such?
It's a pretty cool setup. So they have panels during the day. Like I went and watched a panel today on arranging from this guy named Lawrence Juber, who I had never heard of by name, but he was the lead guitarist in Wings.
Okay.
And that dude can rip on guitar. So I just got to spend an hour watching him teach me how to arrange songs, aka me just staring at him with my jaw dropped.
Now, this is one of those things that, I mean, teaching arranging songs, how can you even teach that?
That's kind of why I went. I had the question, and I'll be honest, I just wanted to see him play guitar. They did, it was kind of stuff that hopefully if you're trying to make it as a musician, you have at least an ear for. They're kind of putting words to things that you just kind of have in your head already. And honestly, a lot of these things are affirming. Like another thing that we do is we have like a master class, or you could have a mentoring session. And so I went and I sat with this guy who honestly I'd never heard of before, but he's a professional touring musician. He actually does it for a living. So I said, all right, well, I'm going to ask you some questions about wanting to do that. And, at the end, he was like, well, it seems like you're doing everything right. You just got to keep working. And I was like, all right, that's fine. That's going to give me the juice to carry on for another year. Because sometimes when you're working and not getting a lot back, it's like, oh, this is fucking brutal. So having someone who does it for a living say, yeah, you're doing the right things, keep it up, that really helps.
Until you find out that's what he told the guy before you, and the 5 guys after you is going to tell the same.
Yeah,
you got this. You're good.
My time was up and I bailed, so I didn't have to hear him say the same thing.
Smart.
It was, his eyes got a little big when I told him. I was like, yeah, like I get paid by Spotify. And he was like, well, do you get paid by Spotify? And I was like, well, a little bit. And I told him how much. And he was like, oh, okay. Yeah, all right. So that was nice.
How was that? We'll get into that a little bit later. Let's hear some more music from Grover Anderson. This is Front of House, the stereo music podcast that is your favorite.
Philip Marshall Cates was born in Carolina, went to school in England. Philip and Samantha married on his farm before the harvest season. He was scheming. His worshipped father died a great war hero. At night he'd lie in bed and clutch his silver stars and eagles. He was scheming. Back abroad in London, Philip Marshall Cates and met an old explorer who climbed the Ural Mountains, crossed Sahara's dove the ocean, spoke of more, oh, he spoke of more. So one night Philip abandoned poor Samantha, future Smoky Mountain old maid. And as he dark departed, son Lysander joined his father as a stowaway. He spoke of more. But tonight, don't cry for Samantha, mother and bride. Here she holds a black and white photograph that fades away. And she still works the farm. She remembers her baby in her arms, the babe that left her barren and the man who drove her early grave. And they all take a respite in the thought of coming home one day. Philip and Lysander carried south to work for merchants out of Quito. The son translated, father wore a gun and fended off banditos. He grew weak though. Then in 18 years they worked every job from here to Argentina. Every woman a distortion of the last time they'd seen her. He grew weak though. But tonight don't cry for Samantha, mother and bride. Here she holds a black and white photograph that fades away. And she still works the farm. She remembers her baby in her arms, the babe that left her barren and the man who drove her early grave. And they all take a respite in the thought of coming home one day. Oh, Lysander Cates spent over 30 months in travel north to Raleigh. Gasping when he saw Samantha bedridden, rheumatized and gnarly, he said, I'm sorry, but it's been 7 years since father was gunned down by gauchos out to rob our cocaine. And when I got out of jail, I killed every last one and I started home again. Oh, mother, I'm sorry. Old Samantha Cates was buried in the shadow of the church bell tower. Oh, and when he took his life, Lysander's body landed there amongst her flowers. Oh, no. But tonight, don't cry for Samantha, mother and bride. Yeah, she holds a black and white photograph that's faded away. and she still works the farm, and her baby has outgrown her arms. The fields are never barren, and the men come in for supper after a long, hard day, and they all take respite in the thought at coming home.
The song is called Philip Marshall Cates, and you will find it on Grover Anderson, The Optimist.
Quite
I
an
love that
optimistic
song. Thanks for playing it.
Yeah, my pleasure. I love how much people who listen to this podcast love that song.
Real quick,
Yeah.
today, this is weird with time, because today, if you're listening to this podcast, today is like 8 weeks ago.
True.
Okay. But today, I was mixing a podcast that you heard 7.5 weeks ago with Brother Sal. And Brother Sal and I got into classical music pretty deep. And we started talking about that. And Brother Sal said that he takes his respite in classical music.
I love it. Great word.
I had to let him know how important that word is,
Strong
especially
word.
to this podcast. It's because of that song, Philip Marshall Cates. Number 2, fucking Go Gauchos.
Yes, of course.
Totally Go
love
Gauchos.
The Gauchos. Ole.
I think that when you're playing those 7,000-seat venues, when you bust out Philip Marshall Cates and you get to the part about the Gauchos,
Yes.
everyone's going to start throwing tortillas.
They better.
Yeah.
I can think of nothing better than that. Yes.
That would be quite an honor.
I miss Santa Barbara.
Man, what a great song. What a great
I've started joking
song.
based on our conversations about that song after I play it. Now I say that I think it's the only song I know that mentions the words respite, gauchos, cocaine, and gnarly, besides maybe a Sublime song.
Probably.
Yeah, so we're doing all right there.
That's, wow, I'm going to have to check Sublime's
I know,
catalog.
I got to dig a little bit.
Yeah, no, that's good. That's good. That's some strong, witty on-stage banter.
You know,
Your
I've
game
been
is strong.
really honing it. You know,
Yeah.
I'm trying to. I'm getting to a point where everyone's heard my jokes now, and I got to come up with new ones, and it's kind of pissing me off a little bit.
You've been touring quite a bit lately.
I've been a busy man. Yeah, we went. I drove from Ohio to the northernmost town in Maine, or so I claim. At least it was open by paved road this summer, and it was quite a treat. I really got all of the northeastern United States under my belt. Saw a lot of different people. I like Maine. Maine is cool. Maine is also a little weird.
I think that's probably their thing over there.
Yeah, they own it to a strong degree. I didn't get anyone like doing the hardcore like Stephen King movie accent, like, oh yeah, I won't go down that route or anything like that. But I was, you know, like the guy from Pet Sematary.
If that guy has an axe, get away.
Yeah, I would have been running quickly,
Yeah.
but none of that. It was quite disappointing.
Did you eat the lobster?
I did have a little lobster.
Okay.
It was delicious.
That's important. I mean, that's what I know about Maine. I don't know anything else about Maine.
Well, I've read every Stephen King book.
Sure.
So I got to be that guy in Bangor, and I went and visited like the Paul Bunyan statue.
Bangor?
Yeah.
I hardly even know her.
Took me about 30 seconds to learn that it's Bangor when you're in Bangor, not Bangor.
boy.
They were like, "Oh, that's cool. Welcome, sir. You're
Yeah.
from California, aren't you?"
Right. Hey, you guys, you know, and don't even get us started on people from Connecticut. Fucking spell your state right.
Ooh, I have to
Jesus.
abstain from this one. That's where my wife is from.
New Jersey. Everybody, just, look at that. New
Yeah,
Jersey.
they did it
That's how you
right.
spell a state.
Yeah, I got to say, I drove through New Jersey. That state needs a better publicist. It gets a bad rap.
Yeah, actually, no,
pretty nice.
Jersey's all right.
Yeah.
It's all right. But yeah, on a recent podcast, somebody said, I think it was Brother Sal again, who said, he says, I take people at face value. Like, if you're from New Jersey and you're an asshole, I say, that's okay, because you're from New Jersey.
I'll allow it.
Apparently, people from Jersey are assholes. I don't know.
It's all right.
Grover Anderson, our guest, front of house. This is your third appearance on the show.
I know. I feel like I'm taking advantage, but I'm also really, really grateful.
No, this is great. Grover is also one of our very first Patreon supporters.
Woohoo!
Bow to you, my brother.
Oh no, you've done a lot for me. I'm happy to return the favor in any way I can.
Thank you. And anyone else out there listening, a performer pays us. And it's not pay for play. It's
not pay for
it's
play.
not. It's not. So go to patreon.com/front of house and please sign up to support the show, and we'll keep delivering free music to you. What's some of the songs that we sent out that you like so far?
I like the one that Ted Russell Camp. Yeah, that was probably my favorite.
Nice. I can't remember which one we sent out.
I don't remember either, but that one got me through. I think driving back from Maine back to Connecticut that day. I listened to that one and about 3 others that time. It was great.
Let's hear more from Grover Anderson. What do you got, my brother?
This song has a special place in my heart because it introduced me to my wife. She walked into a place and saw me and thought I was going to be playing Dave Matthews Band covers and wanted to leave, which I understand because I like Dave Matthews when Dave Matthews is playing Dave Matthews and not when anybody else is.
Makes sense.
And so she heard this song and decided to stay, and that's how we met. If it's fireflies or if my eyes are lying to me, but the lights that fill up my sky aren't shining as bright. I landed in Minnesota, it's colder, but I'm warm and I'm free. Until I'm alone on the memories to help me get through the night. And I got what I want, now I just want more. When you leave Indiana, I'm gonna cover some ground. Do all that I couldn't get done without you around. I'm gonna cook you a dinner and burn it. I'll say you're perfect when you don't deserve it. I'm gonna love you till I'm sick of you, and hopefully you're gonna be sick of me too. And we've dealt with this distance, lived through dissonance, the wild ups and downs. But I hear your voice through the wire, and my heart floats away. Now we're headed home, and we've gone on too long waiting around. Oh, let's have some of that fun we've been hearing about. Forget all the future and live for today. When you leave Indiana, I'm gonna cover some ground. Do all that I couldn't get done without you around. I'll change your flat tires, keep my facial hair groomed. I'll hold you in bed till the late afternoon. I'm gonna love you till I'm sick of you, and hopefully you're gonna be sick of me. We got the rest of our lives to live, the rest of our lives. And try as we might in time, some of the magic might die. But when we get together, I'm gonna cover some ground. Right now we're young and we're dumb, and we'll run this town. I'm gonna cherish each kiss like the first. I'll hold you in ways that they'd frown on in church. Then if I'm lucky to live till I'm 80, I'll still be a fool for my little old lady. I'll tell everyone that I'm sick of you, and hopefully you're gonna be sick of me too. Oh, I'm just sick of me too.
All right, Grover Anderson. We'll get back in with Grover in just a few minutes. This is Front of House Live. We're sitting here at the North Hollywood Hideout, hanging out at the bar, watching the same thing you're watching. So if you got a question, just put it up here on the YouTube page. We'll do our best to answer it for you right away. Let's give out some social media information. Grover on the Twitter is at I am Super Grover. Follow him there on Twitter, and make sure you go to groveranderson.com and pick up these two records. Grover Anderson, The Optimist, and Grover Anderson is the front man. They are available and phenomenal. My name is Mike Dawson. If you like this show, please go to patreon.com/front of house and subscribe as one of our Patreon supporters. For doing so, you get free music and tons of access that others don't. Again, it's at patreon.com/front of house. Let's get back with Grover Anderson. This is Front of House Live. All right, back here in the North Hollywood Hideout with my man Grover Anderson, who is down here for the Far West Festival.
Yeehaw.
Which, again, tell me what that stands for.
Folk Alliance Regional West. It's a mouthful.
Grover's new record is called Grover Anderson is the Front Man, and Grover is going to play us the title track right now.
Mm-hmm.
I dig this song. Everybody listen up. It's in stereo. It's front of house.
Driving 6 hours on a Saturday to play for 50 in a bar across the state. No one in the room will know you, but for 2 hours you'll sing louder than the forks hitting plates. Keep your expectations humble, sing your favorite line, and someone cracks a smile and you're embarrassingly proud. Don't they know that you're the front man of the second biggest band in your small town? On the weekdays you teach high school and students troll you with your videos online. And you play at all the wineries, which really means you drink far too much wine. But goddamn, do you feel special when a stranger wants to know when your next album's coming out? Just the perks of being front man of the second biggest band in your small town. As you thank people for coming, someone grabs you by the hand, says, "Good job, you need to find a publisher, an agent, and a brand." And you smile and nod politely, pack up t-shirts and CDs, knowing full well the only way to make it is to leave. It's been one hell of a summer, made good money and the guys all got along. Opened up for a famous classic rock band, minus the singer who wrote all of their songs. And now people are asking, is that the big break that carries your songs all the world around? And your answer's optimistic, but you're just the 30-something front man of the second biggest band in your small town. Now you thank God for local radio and community that cares. When some tourist from the city says, "Hey man, you're really putting yourself out there, have you thought about The Voice?" Sometimes your dreams wander when you're up drinking alone, but really all you've ever wanted was this baby wife and home. So you burden your odometer, load and unload gear more times than you can count. And you love being the front man of the second biggest band in your small town. And you go to LA and go on really cool podcasts to tell people you're the second biggest band in your small town. One more time, Dawson, that's groveranderson.com. I'm the 30-something dad bod rockin' acoustic guitar playing eponymous front man of the second biggest non-cover band in my small town.
God, I love that song. Song's called Frontman. Grover Anderson is the frontman, the name of the record. CCR?
Yeah, Creedence
that
Clearwater
it? Yeah.
Revisited.
Creedence Clearwater Revisited. Right. Minus John Fogerty.
We love John Fogerty, and the guys from Creedence Clearwater Revisited were very nice.
Absolutely.
And their lead singer
Well, they
actually
should
kind of
be.
looks like you, and he's very nice too.
Nice.
But it was not John Fogerty.
No, it was not. It was not Fogerty. But no, that's great. And the funny thing about what I guess a lot of people who don't live in California who listen to this show is, yes, you play wineries.
Oh my God.
You drink wine.
Yeah, it's
They're all over the place. They're
a
ubiquitous.
lucrative
They're
business.
they're like deer in Michigan. It's like wineries in California.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's great when you like wine.
But you really break it down, man, and that's when I listened to this record after you sent it, and thank you for sending it.
My pleasure.
I was like, that's the most honest song I have ever heard in my life.
It's definitely the most honest song I've ever written, and literally everything in that song is true.
Oh, 100%.
We did the Creedence opening gig, and then I played at a bar in Vallejo for nobody who cared. A lot of people, but nobody who cared.
And there's people eating, and you're competing with forks, and
absolutely.
hitting plates,
And
wait staff taking orders.
And I assume I'm not going to offend anybody, but I was playing a show in my hometown, and this dude came in, and he was like, "Hey, man, I do a really professional radio show out of like this even smaller town than the one I live in." And he's like, "And we
really professional."
And he was like, "Man, you got to have you done all this stuff? And it's great that you're putting yourself out there." And I was like, "Who the? With all due respect, who the fuck are you?"
What are you, Market 203?
And I wasn't
bro?
trying to be a big timer, but I was just like, "Man, I'm working my ass off in here, and this is the first time you're hearing of me. That's your problem."
No, I know, I get it, dude. It's funny, but it's true, and in a sense, you are putting yourself out there with that song. That is what it is.
I wrote that song. It was much longer originally, and I was texting like voice memos to Jimbo, and I was just sending them to him. And I was like, "Man, this is stupid." And he was like, "You got to record that, man." And then I showed it to my band, kind of doing that. I was like, "Oh, this is something I was screwing around with," but really, I was really nervous. And they listened to it, and they're like, "Yeah, that's the title track of the album, dude."
Nice.
And I was like, "Oh, okay, people like this. Here we go."
Yeah.
And it's definitely like the best song I play at gigs now. It's pretty cool.
It's an awesome song. Take this in the spirit in which it's intended, which is good. It is reminiscent to me of the opening salvo to the South Park movie.
Yes, I love it. There's a bunch of... I am embarrassed to admit that I know that song. Wow.
It's very good. Grover Anderson, you're a teacher up in Murphy's, California.
I am.
And I just noticed for the very first time that your album, The Optimist, is not really just called The Optimist. It's Grover Anderson, The Optimist. There's
true.
a comma. There's a comma after Grover Anderson. Grover Anderson, The Optimist.
That's called an appositive, Mike.
And a positive. Okay. And we're going to get to my point here. Don't spoil it for me.
Sorry.
The second album is not simply called The Frontman. It's called Grover Anderson is the Frontman. I had no idea you were an English teacher.
I'm a drama teacher first and English teacher second.
Okay.
But-
Okay.
But tell that to the freshman who just took a big grammar test yesterday.
Hey,
so-
man. I'm not afraid
I
to
got
say.
gerunds for days, bro.
Gerunds? What's a gerund?
It's when you add ing to the end of the verb and it acts as a noun. I'm such a fucking nerd. I'm sorry.
Well, no. See, I won the English award in 8th grade. And I guess since then, I don't know what happened, man. I don't know what happened.
You went to UC Santa Barbara. Is what happened.
I did. I left some brain cells behind. I left my brain cells in Isla Vista on Del Playa, man. Yeah.
Oh, Lordy.
Maybe a couple on Segundo.
You did pick up on something, though, because that Optimist album is all about characters.
Mm-hmm.
And the frontman really is like, I'm fucking nervous about that album because that's me, and it's terrifying. And like, as much as you can do a concept album about yourself, like it is the last 3 years of my life. And putting it onto a record and mailing it was a much different experience than saying, hey, I've got a song about someone who shot a bunch of people in Ecuador, you know? Like,
Well, here's a question. What song are you most afraid of?
on that album.
And play it.
All right, cool. The second track.
Grover Anderson is front of house.
Amy never waits for me the way I'd like her to. She runs off in all directions like I'd never think to do. And even when the pathway's clear and compass pointing true, she runs off in all directions. In spite of my frustration, I keep running down the line. There are dreams we plan to summit and hope we swore to mine. Tired though I am of traveling this beaten path alone, there are places that I gotta go. And I'm sick like standing water, choked with insect eggs and mud, and my heart is like a desert, hard and dry until the flood. And the air is thick and heavy with a lonesome melody set to words she often put to me. Go, go, there's nothing for you in this town. You've seen all there is to see. I want you to stay, stay, you'd love to stick around. I can't let you burn out here with me. I won't let you burn out here with me. And I'm sick like standing water, capped with iridescent oil, and my instincts have gone barren, lost to dust bowls worth of soil. And the air is thick and heavy with a lonesome melody set to words she often put to me. Go, go, there's nothing for you in this town. You've seen all there is to see. I want you to stay, stay, you'd love to stick around. I can't let you burn out here with me. And if you won't come along, then there's nothing left to do. Someone else will have to write a song for you. And I don't mind the city, I prefer the road. When I'm riding from my stomach instead of riding for my soul. And when I need a little respite from this rank uncertainty, a vicious psalm is always chasing me. Go, go, there's nothing for you in this town. You've seen all there is to see. I want you to stay, stay, you'd love to settle down. I can't let you burn out here with me. And if you won't come along, then there's nothing left to do. Someone else will have to write a song for you. And he'll probably be a better singer too.
Grover Anderson is front of house. It's a bizarro love song.
It's
Certainly a love song.
It is, yeah, absolutely. But it's about loving two very different things.
Yeah.
Yeah, that song was tough. I played it for a coworker actually, and he was like, "Is your wife okay with that song?" And I was like, "Yeah," because that song is me getting out all those things that I'm afraid of and admitting them. And if I couldn't admit them to myself or to her, I might be in a lot of trouble.
It's good to have a wife.
It's pretty nice, so far so good.
Good for you.
I'm a fan. The kid's pretty rad too.
How old is the kid?
The kid
You're a
is
father now.
Yeah,
Holy
I know,
smokes!
it's fucking crazy. 16 months. She's awesome. She's she sings. So we have a fireplace, and you know how this is very obscure, especially for a podcast. You know, fireplace doors have like little coils coming off, so the heat evaporates, so you can touch the door.
Yep.
So she sees me singing into microphones, and that's the closest thing she can see that looks like a microphone that she can grab.
Oh,
so she
shit.
holds on to it and sings into it, and it's the cutest fucking thing I've ever seen. It's pretty neat.
Well, we also, folks, it's summertime. There's no fires happening in the fireplace. The kid's not going to get burned.
Yeah, she's okay.
Yeah. That's while we're recording this. It is early October, which by all
Other
measures
than the
and
massive
purposes
fire
and-
burning
yeah.
in the Los Angeles hills.
Right. Oh, yeah. By the way, California's burning down. Anyway. Man, oh, man, oh, man. It's going to happen. I got a song about that.
Yep.
Yeah. It's called Watching Hollywood Burn.
Watching Hollywood burn. I
About
like
when
it.
I first moved out of here 2 days after I took possession of this house.
the last
this
big one?
time 2 years ago.
Mhm.
It was when a homeless encampment burned down Sunset Boulevard in the 405.
Mhm.
And then there was a fire in Santa Clarita. And then the Thomas fire started.
And that was the same day as the San Bernardino shooting, right? That was like the crazy week
Yeah,
or whatever.
that was no. That was
a different one.
That was, I think you're thinking of Thousand Oaks, right?
Yeah, it was the one that burned like Malibu
Borderline.
and stuff. Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Sorry, Thousand Oaks. My bad.
So yeah, dude, I'm just sitting on my front porch watching Hollywood burn, and I'm like, okay, grab a guitar.
That is one. If you can't write a song about that,
Yeah,
it doesn't even have to be a good song. But you're just
Right.
like, that's a lot to work with up there.
Turned out to be a pretty good song. I'll play it
Nice.
for you. Grover Anderson is here for the Far West Music Conference, which I think it's proactive, it's smart, it's good.
Trying.
And you're getting some gigs out of it. You still have 2 gigs tonight. As we speak right now, it's 20 minutes to 7, and you still have 2 shows tonight. What do you got?
I got a 30-minute gig in one hotel room, and I think I'm doing a 40-minute in the round in another hotel room. It's kind of wild. They just rent out this whole floor, and you host private concerts in that floor, and you walk from one room to the next. And when you're not playing, you're going room to room listening to people. And it's kind of nice because this summer we did a house concert up in Murphy's for a bunch of our friends. We like hired a band from Santa Barbara to come up, and we're trying to do that again next year.
I'll
So
tell
in
you, this
addition to
house
me like
concert
pitching
thing
myself for house
it's the
concerts,
shit.
now I'm like writing down some names for who to call next year. It's pretty cool.
The way to go.
Yes, I'm especially for
It's
me.
all
Like,
people. Number one, it's all people that are there for you.
yeah, they want to listen. I mean, I can entertain a crowd if I
Right.
need to for 3 hours, but it kind of sucks my soul away slowly. Whereas, too, if I can make people smile when I say I'll hold you in ways that they frown on in church,
Yeah.
it's like, oh yeah, that's why I do this. It's pretty nice.
And all that witty banter.
I'm really working on that.
You gotta hone that stuff.
Oh yeah, I don't know. Pure comedy gold here on front of house.
All right, we got Grover Anderson. I want to remind you all to pick up the man's music. Grover Anderson, comma, The Optimist. And Grover Anderson is the front man. Pick them up at groveranderson.com. That's how you put money in the pocket of the artist.
Yeehaw. Yes.
Also, I want to thank everyone who listens to this podcast and has come up to Grover at a show.
Oh, my God.
And said, yeah, I heard you on Front House.
It's the coolest thing, and it happens like more often than I would. I don't know how many people listen to this, but it's enough that I am like through the roof every time it happens.
That's my favorite story.
I also enjoy when people tweet at me every time they see the word respite used in the wild.
Oh, as you should.
Yes, it's
Yes.
it's pretty great. Also, some listener, his name's Mark, he embroidered a hat that had the album cover of The Optimist on it and sent it to me, and that's the coolest
Nice.
hat I've ever seen, and my dad wears it. Because
Nice.
you can't wear a hat with your own name on it, but I didn't want it sitting on my desk, so I gave it to my dad.
Nice.
And he's
That's,
very excited about it.
that's why the Los Angeles logo has no lettering,
Yeah, it's smart.
so I can wear it.
That's a good move.
Yeah.
I got it.
That's what you got to do.
Genius.
You got to do a GA or something.
That's
you
why
know?
I come here to learn from you.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I hope that everyone listening has learned a little something, and at the very least, been entertained. It's been a hell of a time. We got time for 2 more songs, by the way. We're not wrapping up.
All right.
May I request a cover?
Please.
Any cover you like.
Any cover. All right. A bit of background. When you play, approaching country music, people always come up to you and they say, hey, can you play Wagon Wheel? And I'm really fucking tired of it. So I always say, we'll play you a song by Darius Rucker, all right? And so I'm going to play you a song by Darius Rucker.
All right.
She sits alone by a lamppost, trying to find a thought that's escaped her mind. She says, you're the one I love the most, and this life's not far behind. She never lets me in, only tells me where she's been when she's had too much to drink. I tell her I don't care, I just run my hands through her dark hair, and I pray to God, you gotta help me find a way, saying let her cry, let the tears fall down like rain, let her see if it eases all the pain, and let her go, let her walk right out on me. And if the sun comes up tomorrow, let her be. Oh, let her be. This morning I woke up alone, found a note standing by the phone, saying, baby, maybe I'll be back someday. I wanted to look for you, you walked in, I didn't know just what I should do, so I sat back down and had a beer and felt sorry for myself, saying let her cry, let the tears fall down like rain, let her see if it eases all the pain, and let her go, let her walk right out on me. And if the sun comes up tomorrow, let her be. Oh, let her be. Last night I tried to leave, cried so much I could not believe she was the same girl I fell in love with long ago. She went in the back to get high, I sat down on the couch and cried, saying, oh God, no, please help me, won't you hold my hand, saying let her cry, let the tears fall down like rain, let her see if it eases all the pain, and let her go, let her walk right out on me. And if the sun comes up tomorrow, let her be. Oh, let it be. If the sun comes up tomorrow.
Grover Anderson, covering Hootie and the Blowfish.
My best Hootie.
Very nice.
Thanks, man.
You know, I love, one of the things I love about getting a new record is reading the liner notes.
Sir.
And there is no thrill so sublime as reading the thank yous on a record and finding your own name in there.
Yeah.
Thank you for the thank you.
You're on the list, man. The front of house has opened a lot of doors for me, and I really appreciate it.
I like that. I appreciate that. That's just good science, is what that is. The new record is called Grover Anderson is the Front Man. The old record is called Grover Anderson, The Optimist. I recommend both of them. In fact, when you first sent me this one, I was on a road trip, and I'm like, I'm taking this with me. Let's see what this is all about.
I think you called me from like
I
Ventura
called you
or
from the
something.
road. Yeah. I'm like, dude, I'm driving right now. Listen to this record you sent. It's pretty fucking good.
I was like, am I getting a call from Mike Dawson? This is amazing. I was
That
at work,
is
just kind
funny.
of beside myself.
So yeah, dude, big fan. Happy to see that you're doing it, man. You're doing it.
Doing the best we can.
You're putting yourself out there.
If you're not doing that, what are you doing?
Yeah, just if they ever say "bless your heart" when you're in Nashville,
Yes,
get the
it's
fuck out of
bad news.
Nashville.
Actually, I heard a guy last night from North Carolina do a song called "Bless Your Heart," and it was all about that. It was amazing.
Nice.
And it's like, bless his heart. He's a child of God. I was like, you're the best, man.
Oh shit, that's good.
Yeah, it was a great song.
That's good.
His name was Clint, but I don't know his last name, so I can't tell you to look it up.
Nice. Well, one of the tracks here on the front, man, I'm going to ask you to close with. It's pretty standout. I've heard you play it on this show before, but I believe you polished it up, and I'm sure you're also dying to play it because I know that this is one of your favorite songs on this record.
It is my favorite track I've ever done. It surpassed The Lampalier by like a mile.
I miss The Lampalier. The Lampalier is on Grover Anderson, The Optimist. It's a great fucking song. God, I got to listen to this record again. But the song we're talking about is called Evergreen.
Yeah.
And it's damn good.
Those are all mostly musicians from my hometown. The only person who's not from like where I live is Jimbo Scott from the Bay. But I just called every favor I had and said I want this track to be perfect, and I'm pretty grateful because I think it came out damn fine through a lot of other people's work.
Instrumentation on the record do entice people to buy it. Who all played on this song?
This is Jimbo Scott, who's actually now playing in the bluegrass band Poor Man's Whiskey. So if you've heard of them, you've probably heard him. There's a band called the Risky Biscuits, which is the best band name ever.
It's a great band name.
And they do a lot of bluegrass festivals and stuff. And we got the lead singer and the fiddle player from them to hop on it. And then all the guys from my band play on it as well.
We're going to hear Evergreen in just a second. Grover Anderson, it's been a goddamn pleasure.
Thank you for having me. I'm so grateful.
Being here.
That third time, I can't even... Ooh.
Again, go to groveranderson.com, pick up the records, and be like Grover. Support us on Patreon at patreon.com/front of house. Be sure and subscribe to the podcast. Share it with a friend. Let's get the world listening in stereo the way it's meant to be, because we have 2 ears. You can follow us on Twitter at FOHpod. And remember, every Monday is a Music Monday.
Yes, sir.
Front of house.
It lights up your email every time.
That's right. Grover Anderson, take us home, my brother.
I crawled hands and knees through the brush and bramble, and I scaled the rocks on the vast barren hills. The thorns of the desert, such a pain to handle, and I cut up the oaks that had lost their wills. Prospering thickly through insecure seasons, running from strife when the skies are no good. But you're evergreen, and standing right beside me through the good days and the cold, quiet nights. Well, you're evergreen. Till the mountain it crumbles, you'll be up there reaching for the light. You're already shining so bright. And I lost loves to snakes and to lions and other climbers. Sometimes the path went to places they won't. Some I chased down the hill, then I pushed on high. 'Cause up past that tree line's a loving home. Oh, with you, you're evergreen, and standing right beside me through the good days and the cold, quiet nights. Where are you? You're evergreen. Till the mountain it crumbles, you'll be up there reaching for the light. But you're already shining so bright. I'll sit in your shelter, your arms are my eaves. I'll nourish your body and play in your leaves. I can't stop the fires, but I'll plant our seeds, and we'll build our home in the shade of this tree. I'll sit in your shelter, your arms are my eaves. I'll nourish your body and play in your leaves. Now I can't stop the fires, but I'll plant our seeds, and we'll build our home in the shade of this tree. You're evergreen. Oh, you're standing right beside me through the good days and the cold, quiet nights. Well, you're evergreen. Oh, Lord, tell the mountain it crumbles, you'll be up there reaching for the light. Oh, you're already shining so bright. You're evergreen. You're evergreen. Well, you're evergreen.
All right, that's going to do it for this edition of Front of House Live with Grover Anderson. But don't go anywhere, because Grover plays our trivia game, 5 classic rock questions. We'll see how he does right after this. Follow us on the Twitter at FOHPod. Make sure you subscribe to the podcast, the audio portion of such, and tell a friend, rate, review, and make sure you're listening in stereo always, because we try to give you the best sound quality you possibly can get on a podcast. That's why we broadcast in stereo. It's a music podcast, thus we have 2 ears. That's the way we hear music. Again, please go to patreon.com/front of house and support us there. As little as $3 a month, you get free music every single week. Front of House comes back on Monday with a brand new audio podcast with my friends Distant Cousins. The boys got a lot of miles beneath their wheels since their last appearance on Front of House. We'll hear all about that with Distant Cousins coming up this Monday on the audio portion of the website. Again, rate, subscribe, review, and please tell a friend. That's how we keep the lights on around here. All right, I'm Mike Dawson. I'll be back with you in 2 weeks with Distant Cousins Live here on Front of House. And until then, let's just turn it over to Grover and see how he does with these 5 classic rock questions on Front of House Live. Thanks for joining us. Time for 6 pretty basic classic rock questions. Ooh. The record is 5 of 6, held by 2 different artists.
All right.
Question number 1. Which artist wrote and recorded the song All Along the Watchtower in 1967?
Wrote and recorded. That would be Bob Dylan.
Ding, ding, ding. Question 2. What famous London club was located on Oxford Street before moving to its most heralded location on Wardour Street in Soho?
Jesus. Yeah. That's tough. You're making, I don't know.
That's tough.
The Globe Theater? Shakespeare's Globe? Yeah, I'm going to go with Shakespeare's Globe Theater.
Incorrect. Oh. It is the Marquee Club.
The Marquee.
The Animals, the Stones, Led Zeppelin used to play there.
Damn.
Yeah. Which Neville brother... Wow, you picked a tough card.
I did.
Started the Meters in 1965.
I'm going to go with the only Neville brother that I know well, and that's Aaron.
And you would be wrong.
Figured.
Art.
Of course.
Neville.
Art Neville.
The one Neville brother nobody talks enough about Art. Question number 4. Which band's, quote, Bad Reputation was used as the theme for NBC's Freaks and Geeks.
Oh, God. Who sings that song? I don't give a... Jesus Christ. Why can't I think of this? No. Shoot. Not Chris. No.
See, I'd see Bad Reputation and I'd think Freedy Johnson, but
Well,
that's incorrect.
that's incorrect. And you know what I'm thinking of, which is bad. There's a cover of this song, and I think 10 Things I Hate About You, which I'm thinking of, and it's messing me up. But
Who covers it? The Donnas?
I don't remember.
That's another clue, maybe.
The Donnas?
I mean,
Is it the Donnas?
no.
No, shit. I'm just gonna say the. Fuck. I don't know. No.
Joan Jett and
Joan
the
Jett!
Blackhearts.
Oh my God! Come on. Jeez Louise.
Question number 5.
Wow, that's embarrassing.
For what iconic punk band did Paul Simonon play bass before teaming up with Damon Albarn of Blur to release The Good, the Bad, and the Queen in 2007? Which punk band?
You know, I come on here and I play my songs,
Paul
and I feel like I'm
Simonon
getting some cred, and now I'm just exposed. I'm just going to name an iconic punk band. The Stooges?
The Clash.
The Clash. Yeah, it's 50% there. I thought about the Clash, and you told me to think of the... Damn it.
This is
First
so
thing that
tough,
comes to
man.
mind.
You are hurting with these questions.
I'm not going to
This
tie the
is
record.
not an easy card.
Okay.
What 1970 chart topper for Shocking Blue rocketed back to the top in 1986 when it was sung by Bananarama?
I just want to point out that I was born in 1986, so this is very unfair.
All right, well, I'm going to read you the question again.
Okay.
And you should get the answer by the last word of the question.
Bananarama.
Ready? Bananarama. Now, here's the question. What 1970 chart topper for Shocking Blue rocketed back to the top in 86 when it was sung by Bananarama?
The extent of my knowledge of Bananarama is the fact that there is a band called Bananarama. So I'm going to say it was the title track of their self-titled album, Bananarama.
I'll tell you what. I'll even sing the song for you.
Okay.
She's got it. Yeah, baby, she's got it.
Jesus.
I'm your
I just want you to keep singing.
Venus.
Oh.
I'm your
Venus-
fire. I'm
your
your desire.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jesus. This is a
Grover
hard game.
Anderson, 1 for 6.
Yeah, I'm
Ouch.
terrible at this. Can we just not release this podcast for
That's
the
a
sake
low-
of my ego?
Low score record. Thank you for playing.
Yeah, right?